I didn't want to attend the gala, but I went anyway. Not out of excitement, out of habit. Obligation has a way of dressing itself up as loyalty. I rented the tux, adjusted the cufflinks, and told myself this was just another night where I'd stand quietly beside my wife while she shined. The ballroom was bright with chandeliers and polite laughter. As soon as we entered, she spotted her boss, Ethan. Her pace changed. Her posture straightened. She moved ahead of me without noticing, already smiling, already engaged. I followed. Or at least I tried to. Within minutes, I became background. She leaned toward Ethan as they talked, their heads close enough to share air. It wasn't openly inappropriate. That's what made it worse. It was ease, comfort, familiarity, the kind that doesn't look guilty but feels excluding. When someone asked who I was, she introduced me quickly, almost efficiently. "This is Daniel, my husband." Then she turned back to Ethan before the sentence fully landed. I stood there with a drink I didn't remember ordering, watching conversations fold in around her and close without me. I told myself I was overreacting, that this was just how corporate rooms worked, that ambition required focus, but ambition shouldn't require erasing someone. An hour passed, then another. She never once looked for me. That's when I noticed Claire. Ethan's wife stood near the edge of the room, composed, observant, untouched by the performance happening around her. Our eyes met briefly. No accusation, no pity, just recognition. The quiet understanding of someone who had seen this before. Later, as my wife leaned close to Ethan again, Claire walked toward me. She didn't announce herself. She simply placed her hand around my arm. It wasn't dramatic. It was deliberate. "Let's give them something to talk about," she said softly. For a moment, I hesitated. The phrase could have meant chaos, or revenge, or embarrassment. But her tone suggested none of those. It suggested refusal. I nodded. We didn't cling to each other. We didn't perform. Claire slipped her arm through mine like it was the most natural thing in the world, and we walked forward, into the center of the room, into visibility. People noticed, not because we were inappropriate, but because the social math changed. Conversations paused. Eyes followed. Assumptions recalculated. Ethan saw us first. His smile faltered, not with jealousy, but with concern. Then my wife turned. The look on her face wasn't anger. It was terror. Not fear of betrayal, fear of exposure. A senior executive approached us, smiling broadly. "You two look wonderful," he said. "Please stay close. We're about to introduce key partners." This was the moment. Not loud, not cruel, just unmistakable. When the announcements began, the executive invited Ethan and his wife forward together. There was a pause. Claire didn't move. The silence was subtle but heavy. Ethan hesitated, then followed her, visibly unsettled. Applause filled the room, polite and professional, but the shift had already happened. My wife stepped back from Ethan instinctively, like someone realizing they'd been standing too close to a flame. She came to stand beside me for the first time all evening. "What are you doing?" she whispered. I looked straight ahead. Standing here, nothing more. The rest of the night passed differently. She stayed near me. Ethan kept his distance. Claire remained composed, dignified, unbothered. No one accused. No one explained. But everyone saw. The car ride home was silent until she finally spoke. "You embarrassed me." "I didn't say anything," I replied. "That's not the point." She was right. It wasn't. The point was that for months, maybe longer, I had been shrinking myself to fit into her world, accepting being second, accepting absence disguised as ambition. Tonight I hadn't argued. I hadn't demanded. I hadn't exposed anything. I had simply refused to disappear. At a red light, she looked at me again, not angry now, but calculating. "You made it look like something was happening," she said. "No," I answered quietly. "I made it look like I exist." When we got home, she walked inside ahead of me. No slammed doors, no tears. Just a distance that could no longer pretend to be temporary. Lying beside her later, I understood something clearly. The terror in her eyes wasn't about scandal. It was about losing the certainty that I would always tolerate being overlooked. I don't know what happens. Next, counseling, separation, something slower and harder. But for the first time in a long while, I didn't feel small. I felt present. And whatever this costs us, I know one thing for certain. I will never stand half a step behind again.